All right, let's talk about McCorkle. Mac Jones is back and had another good performance here with the 49ers. I thought he played very well in this game. He's been able to win some games earlier this year, but I thought he played really well in this one. A lot of people are saying, well, this is just Kyle Shanahan, and certainly it's some of that as well, but we'll talk about it all. The Kyle Shanahan of it all, the Mac Jones of it all, and even get into the Jones versus Purdy of it all at the end of this video. Let's just jump into it. Let's start off with this play. It's going to be it's a zone coverage concept. It's a 1st and 20 that the 49ers are going up against because there was a penalty on the previous play. So what does San Francisco have to try and just gain some yards back? Well, it's simple. First, you have that route that's just going to be going kind of more, over the middle, and then what you do is Kendrick Bourne essentially follows him. Just wait a little bit and then go in that direction. And the first route, the Rams will adjust to that route, and then because of that, they will be covering the first route. The second route should hopefully get open. Also, when this play begins, you see right here. So this is another interesting aspect. There's actually a couple of little small things that are very notable on this play. First, you're going to see that Bourne does a very good job on this route of just route running, making it seem as though he's going to stop right here. So you see a different Rams player is assuming that's what he's doing. He's moving in right now when really he should be moving more over the middle of the field. Because of that, Bourne's able to get a lot of separation. Also, check out Kyle Juszczyk, who is the fullback who is running a route. That's the bright side of having a unique player like Juszczyk here. Watch as he makes a block, and then Bourne does a good job of cutting back upfield to pick up as many yards as possible. Good job by really everyone involved. The little aspects of the play is what makes this work, and when the 49ers offense is at its best, it's not just one player being awesome. It's all 11 guys doing their job and maybe even being creative and doing more than their job, and that's what they all did on that play. Also, I was a big fan of this one. So it's a 4th down and 1 situation. They're, just on the outside of field goal range. If you can convert here, you should at least get 3, maybe 7. But obviously, if you don't convert, you're only up 7, and you're giving the Rams good field position. So got to convert. You see over the middle, what are the Rams doing? They're not going to give up a quarterback sneak. That's kind of one thing you want to do in this situation. If you're playing Philadelphia, you got to figure it out because they do the tush push, and that's like impossible to stop. But for every other team, you want to force them to do something other than the quarterback sneak. So that's what the Rams are doing here. Well, what is one counter to this concept that the defense is doing? Well, a lot of times what you see teams do is this. A jet sweep or something similar, get someone in motion, hand them the ball that way, and kind of get them to move away from that middle of the field. That's a lot of times the adjustment you still see teams make. Well, here, watch out the 49ers fake as though that's what they're doing, but they're actually just going to go with a handoff instead. So they're still going to work over the middle. That directly over the middle has been completely clogged, but there are now running lanes. You see, there's a completely unblocked 49ers player right there. Had he known what this play was, he could run up and make it, blow up this running lane, get the stop, and just like that, the Rams have the football. But instead, it's a 1st down because he had to wait on the jet sweep, figure out exactly where the ball was. By the time he figured it out, it was too late. The 49ers get the 1st down. Just really creative stuff here by Kyle Shanahan. Hey, there's a take. Kyle Shanahan, creative play caller, right? Obviously, he deserves a lot of credit. But, I was really impressed with some of these plays that Mac Jones was making, just that were like traditional drop back passing plays. We also then saw, they did do the tush push here. You see, it's going to be Kyle Juszczyk who was in motion. He comes over. He gets right behind Mac Jones. And again, a lot of times in the broadcast, when I talk about the Eagles tush push, they bring up Jalen Hurts is squatting and all that stuff. The quarterback essentially does nothing other than, that's not fair. There's a lot of understanding what's going on, understanding how to get everyone lined up properly, get the ball snapped and all of that stuff. They have to work hard there. But when it comes to the physical traits, it's really just about making sure you get the snap cleanly and holding on to the ball. You see Jones does that on this one. Juszczyk is able to push forward. Honestly, I don't even know if they needed the tush push. That's why the tush push is so incredible, right? Because you take an already high percentage play, the quarterback sneak, and making it even more high percentage, which makes it nearly unstoppable. A play that probably every team should be doing, and 49ers decide they do it on a key spot here. Again, in their own territory, 4th and inches, very important play. Like heading over here, this is a 3rd down and 9. This is like, there's no real way to scheme yourself into a 1st down here. Like, you have to trust your players. So, what do? If you're, you got Mac Jones and you got a bunch of injured receivers, so you have your kind of backups playing here. You see Demarcus Robinson's route. It's just a one-on-one matchup on the outside. You gotta try and win here. So Jones is going to take the snap, and he looks right here. The receiver has outside leverage on this play. I can't even tell if it's supposed to be a go or exactly what the route is, but either way, Jones sees the outside leverage, so he's going to work there. Watch him put this one towards the sideline. Robinson makes a nice grab, and just like that, they're able to get a first and goal inside of 10, so instead of just having to settle for 3, they're able to ultimately get into the end zone for a touchdown on that play. That's just a traditional drop back passing play that the quarterback and the receiver are converting on. Like, that's not Shanahan. That's the talent. Also heading over here, this is another one where it's a 2nd down and 9. Again, you have one-on-one matchups on this play. It's Kendrick Bourne who's going to eventually cut over the middle of the field. The Rams do have players covering the middle of the field, but if you can get there, get to Bourne before he gets completely to where those Rams players are, all he has to do is win his one-on-one matchup. When this play begins, though, you're going to see that for Mac Jones, I mean, this is when the ball, he's in the throwing motion right here. This is not open yet. Like, this is totally anticipation, which is what he was great at in his rookie year with New England. And, if he was good at it then, it makes sense he could still be good at it now, right? We'll watch him make a really nice throw, and they're able to pick up a big completion there and get around midfield. So, again, this is just football. This is not Kyle Shanahan on these couple of plays. This is just Mac Jones finding a way to make plays and doing his job well. And then this play was huge. I mean, if they don't convert here, you're at your own 10-yard line. You're punting it out of your own end zone, basically. The Rams are going to get the ball probably at midfield, if not better. I mean, you kind of got to convert here. It's 3rd and 1. Maybe you try and run the ball, but they haven't ran the ball well. They got stuffed on a 3rd and 1. That was a situation where they probably would have gone for it had they gained 0 yards, and they got less than that and had to punt the ball away earlier. Here, they're looking at Kendrick Bourne, who has a one-on-one matchup. Jones takes the snap. He's going to look in that direction, and you see there's a window for him. Now, Jones has to be careful because there are Rams covering the middle of the field, so he has to get the ball there quickly. But he does exactly that. They're able to pick up the 1st down on this play, and instead of having to punt out of their own end zone, they get a drive going and are able to get all the way into Rams territory. And then there's just, a lot of stuff like this where it's a 2nd and 4. It's going to be zone coverage that the Rams are in defensively. The Rams blitz left, Mac Jones throws left, and, again, that was a lot of what we saw in overtime here. Jones seeing the play, being able to get the ball out quickly and making things work. Now, he did also have this throw, which should have been an interception, which would have been a backbreaker, and that would have been the storyline had he thrown that pick and the Rams won the game. Inside field goal range on a 3rd and 10. They made the field goal, so it all worked out. But, sometimes you get a little bit lucky like that with some of those things. But even had he turned the ball over there, he still had a very good game in this one against the Rams. And I think that's what you look at with Jones. It seems like at the very least, he has proven he could be a more than capable backup. And I do think depending on what happens the rest of the season, I do think it's totally within the cards that you could see a scenario where maybe, he's under contract for next year. Maybe he asks to be traded to a team that, will give him a chance to start, and he can see if he can be the next, Baker Mayfield, the next Sam Darnold, a guy who doesn't fully work in his first team, but then is ultimately able to find his way later in his career. But either way, it was a fun game and a fun story. So those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.